I do want to talk about a game that actually did get the blood flowing. So last night we had number 15 Michigan visiting number 18 Oklahoma in Norman. They had Trey Young, Ice Trey, as the guest picker on College Game Day. Not gonna lie, I thought some of his picks were questionable, but he's a ball knower. I think I didn't do the final check, but he called out Mississippi State over Arizona State. So good knowledge there. Anyway, Brent Venables, he was able to ruin Sharon Moore's homecoming back to Norman, ruin his homecoming night by having the Sooners beat the Wolverines 24-13. These two teams are actually top 5 or 6 in the in all-time winningest teams, but this is only the second time that these two teams have ever played, and actually Oklahoma has won both of those matchups. I wanted to start with the Sooners offense. John Mateer, the quarterback from Washington State, he should be a household name soon enough. His dual threat ability was put on full display. He had 270 passing yards and 1 touchdown through the air, and he rushed for 74 yards with 2 touchdowns on the ground. So he was actually Oklahoma's leading rusher, and he was actually out of both teams only the second leading rusher, just only behind Justice Haynes on Michigan's side. So of all the players on the field, he was the second leading rusher.
Yeah, man. It seems like the game is evolving. I mean, we've seen a lot of quarterbacks this year just being able to scramble like really, really well.
Yeah. I think, I've heard this on other podcasts before, but I think gone are the days of like being a dual threat quarterback, and now it's like you just have to be good at both. You have to be able to improvise. You have to be able to extend plays. Otherwise, defensive linemen are just too good. If you're a statue, they will get you, right?
Yep.
So one connection that really stuck out to me, the Mateer to Deion Burks connection, was looking really good. Deion Burks, he transferred from Purdue a couple years ago. He's been at Oklahoma for I think this is his second year now. He was able to bring in 7 passes for 101 yards, and one of them was a touchdown. Jaron Kanik was also one of his favorite targets, 5 catches for 69 yards. I'm glad this team has weapons to surround around Mateer, because this offense was very anemic last year. Aaron, there's 2 plays I want to analyze with you. So I'm going to bring them up on YouTube, and then we're going to talk about them. One is a deep ball to Deion Burks, and another one's a very impressive run by John Mateer near the end of the game. Let's start here. So we're looking at this is how the play is set up at the beginning. So what are you seeing on the defensive side, or from the offensive side, whichever side you want to start on? What are you seeing from each side here?
So on the defensive side, I'm seeing about 6 guys creeped up on the line, showing that they're gonna blitz and probably create a problem for the quarterback in the pocket right there, which makes sense. You want to put pressure on him, not give him much time, potentially cause some chaos, and maybe get a safety. But there is a risk associated with those blitzes, right? When you're blitzing, you can't really run much zone when you're blitzing that many people, so you got to go man-to-man. Going man-to-man means you're trusting your DBs and your outside linebackers to just be athletes and be able to cover the best of the best, one-on-one. That being said, nobody can cover anybody just all day. If you're going to blitz, you got to get there fast, and that's something Michigan failed to do. And that's why when you see this play develop fully, you'll see that Burks gets open, and it's just an easy lob to him for a deep bomb. You can go ahead and run the rest of the play.
All right.
So again, blitzing, nothing there. Boom. Wide open for the deep bomb.
Nice. Okay. Is there anything Michigan could have done better there?
Execute. If the coach is sending the house, you got to get there. You got to get there, so you're not leaving your DBs that vulnerable for that long.
Okay. One guy almost did get there, but just maybe half a second too late.
Yep.
Okay, second play I wanted to take a look at. This is a John Mateer run in the fourth quarter. They had, I'll talk about it in a little bit, but they had a really long drive to kind of hold on to their lead. this run by John Mateer really helped extend that kind of drive. So here we see, a receiver motioning to the top of the screen.
Hmm.
Yeah, you let me know what you see, Aaron.
Sure, sure. So you can run the play, and I'll kind of talk through it as we watch it. Mateer's kind of running an RPO or a designed run, but he even mentioned in his post game interview, it's hard to game plan for a +1 running back. And that means, having a quarterback who you have to game plan for that can act as another running back and be aggressive and run to gain yards, not run to get what he can. Like it's scary, and I think Oklahoma's going to be a problem for the
Mm-hmm.
SEC teams this year, and it's because of players and freak athletes like Mateer.
Gotcha. Could they have done? I mean, do they need to set the edge better, or how do you, when the quarterback is mobile like John Mateer is, and they didn't really have another running back, like they didn't have a good rushing attack outside of Mateer. What could have
Mhm.
Michigan done better on defense here?
Sure, it's really hard to game plan for somebody like that when he has so many weapons. The best I've seen, or the people who do it best, I've seen the Chiefs, game plan for Lamar Jackson and just have a spy on him the whole game. So
Mm,
maybe teams start doing that and just have somebody keep eyes on him, and your assignment is John
that's his
Mateer.
only job. Yeah.
Yeah,
Okay.
exactly.
Gotcha. So another, we looked at that run by John Mateer. Another impressive stat that doesn't necessarily show up in the stat books. It's a stat that helped seal the victory for Oklahoma. In that fourth quarter, that run was part of it. They had a 16 play, 78-yard drive in the fourth quarter that ate up over 8 minutes of clock. That's over half of a quarter for one drive. To me, that just means total command of the offense. John Mateer really has. I mean, he is working with his offensive coordinator that he worked with at Washington State. I think he has a great understanding of what this offense can and can't do, and they were able to beat a decent Michigan defense by playing their own game.
Hmm.
The one concern I do have about the running game at Oklahoma, I don't think, especially as you get into more SEC play, you don't want to rely on Mateer that much to run the ball. High chance of him getting hurt, and we saw what Oklahoma's offense was last year. We probably don't want to get down to the second guy. Um, Switching to Michigan real quick, Bryce Underwood's lack of experience, it kind of showed its head yesterday. His lack of experience as a true freshman on the road in the SEC. That's tough for anybody. So he only completed 9 of 24 passes with 142 yards. So I think a lot of that shakiness, showed in a lot of the passes that weren't getting to where they needed to go. And then there was that video of him arguing with Justice Haynes on the sideline. Not sure why he would be doing that. Haynes was like the only spark on offense they really had. They were shut out in the first half. Michigan was, for the first time since 2020, since COVID started. So credit to Oklahoma's defense. They were very aggressive. They blitzed and applied pressure steady and often. Clearly, it made Underwood, uncomfortable, like I mentioned, with the stats that I mentioned before. Michigan only had 288 total yards the whole night. There's two plays here on defense that Oklahoma's defense, that I wanted to share with you, Aaron. And then we could see, what Oklahoma's doing well to bother the freshman quarterback so much.
The
All right.
first thing I noticed on this play right here, right? Looks like you got a receiver coming in motion, but like,
Mm-hmm.
look how many people are creeped up on the line for Oklahoma. They got like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, maybe is that 6 or 7 on one? Six,
Uh, I'm seeing
yes.
five, and then this one guy up top.
And so they're almost daring you to do something else besides run the ball. We're ready. We have the edges here. We're daring you to try to throw the ball, and so they send the guy in motion. You can play the play. Um, there's a little bit of a misdirection going on, but as you can see,
They just swarm
Oklahoma's
him.
defense, they're aggressive. They're swarming, they're aggressive, but they're disciplined, right? The backside of that play, the defense is still swarming, but they're making sure that nothing else is going to come back in their direction and get upfield on them. So just outstanding, like aggressive play, causing chaos on defense, but also staying disciplined, staying in your lane and ensuring nothing gets outside of you.
So if Bryce Underwood, he's the play caller here. What should he recognize, seeing what Oklahoma's showing him, and what audible can he call? What other option could he go for here?
Sure. I mean, I don't know if he's necessarily the play caller. Maybe he is. Maybe the OC isn't. But I'm thinking if somebody's daring you to space them out and they have that many people creeped up on the line, hey, do some play action, not even just a misdirection run. Like, you know, bluff a run and throw something over their heads if they're going to have that many people creeped up on the line. You got to keep defenses honest, and you got to keep them honest by having that well balanced attack where you are going over their heads, but also being effective running the ball as well.
Gotcha. All right.
Mm-hmm.
And then one other play I wanted to focus on the Oklahoma defense. So this one will be a pass to Justice Haynes, and Oklahoma just blows it up. Yeah, you let me know what you see here, and then I'll start the play.
Sure. So, first things first, you see Michigan's got like four receivers lined up on the left-hand side. So it's like a quad set. Immediately, Oklahoma matches their energy. They bring four people over to that side of the ball just to be ready for either some man-to-man or, some type of zone. But they have enough people to support the formation strength. Like you said, they're running a bubble screen to Haynes, and the DB on this play just goes untouched. He goes past three people and he just blows up the play. So aggressive read by the DB, but I think it's a blown up play, and Michigan's receivers did not do a good job to protect Haynes, and he pays for their mistake. I think.
Gotcha. So the receiver should have been doing a better job blocking the ones that knew
blocking.
They weren't going to get the ball.
Yep. You got to be aware of no matter who's going to take who in that coverage, somebody's coming to try to blow up that screen.
Got it. Overall, Michigan's defense was pretty decent. They had 2 turnovers. Standout player from last night's defense was definitely Ernest Hausman. He had 11 total tackles. And so the result is what the result is. I think moving forward, both of these teams will definitely see similar, levels of competition and spotlight as they head into their conference schedules. I think Oklahoma definitely needed this spark. Brent Venables, we've talked about what his, kind of hot seat was looking like. And I'm glad to see, their offense matching the tenacity of their defense. Michigan is kind of in a rebuild mode, so they can use this as a test to see where they need to focus and build around Bryce Underwood. He's definitely a bright spot and a lot of potential there.